What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're going to do something different from all the other content that's floating around the YouTube algorithm as it pertains to the Air Jordan 4 military blues. As I'm pretty sure that you're tired of seeing content on this particular shoe, so we're just going to change up things slightly. Quick disclaimer, there will be segments and portions in this video that contains rants and some language included. So if you do want to keep your good vibes secure, please exit stage left. But before you go, also feel free to come back and check out my future content, as that I like to keep it pretty much chill and low key on my channel. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get into this video. So this Air Jordan 4 military blue, aka industrial blue, whatever you want to call it. I will say for the last month and a half to 2 months leading up to the release, which released today, as you know, I would say it's been really a mixed opinion of this shoe. I would say between OG sneakerheads, newer sneakerheads, and also people that just want to resell shoes. It's been a mixed bag between all associated, in my opinion. It seems like the closer we got to the release date, that the opinions was just flying rampant. I would say a couple months ago, it started out as, okay, this shoe is a return to the OG form factor. It almost seemed like in the beginning, it was just tons of hype on this shoe. It was, you know, possible sneaker of the year. From some people, everybody was looking forward to this release. It was a must cop shoe. That was the vibes I was getting off of social media, from your Twitter feeds to your Instagram to all the different various big sneaker YouTubers, big sneaker influencers, basically most of all social media. It just seemed like it was the consensus that I was getting off of all these social media platforms. But again, as I stated, the closer we was getting to release date, I would say a month, and I want to say that the tide started to turn once the rumors started to fly that it was possible that they was going to be releasing 1 million to 1.8 million pairs. I would say at that point things started to change, and I want to say it started with a couple influencers that started with this so-called quality issue, and he also was stating that the shade of blue was incorrect. So I just find it kind of interesting that once rumors started to fly about the potential million pair release, and now it's issues with the shoe. Prior to that, everybody was pretty much on board with the shoe. So, like I said, once we got into that month of release, pairs started to get in the hands. You started to see a couple reviews, and it was so easy to watch this shift between the hype of this shoe into the doubt of this shoe, into almost not wanting this shoe. It's so easy to see that transition taking place, and I couldn't help but to laugh watching this. I couldn't keep my eyes away from it. It was a fucking placebo effect going on right before our eyes. And I'm pretty sure you heard the term sheep following sheep. That's what we witnessed. As I stated, a placebo effect. You get a couple people that's somewhat popular to a big channel or a big influencer that starts harping on quality issues or problems with the shoe, and you start to see all the sheep fall in line and jump on board. It's so fucking obvious if you just look and see what was going on. Let's just say Nike was gonna drop 1.8 million. By dropping that many pairs, who does that hurt? The resellers. So now the resellers are pissed off because so many pairs are dropping. So they start throwing out all this smoke that the shoe is trash, the quality is trash, the color's off, blah, blah, blah. All these issues with the shoe because they pissed off that they can't fucking price gouge the average consumer now. That so many pairs are dropping. So now you got this almost like a smear campaign of the shoe. The placebo effect is in full fledged. Now you got YouTube content creators that's chirping and almost falling in line. Yeah, the quality is bad. In my opinion, the quality isn't terrible. I think most people so accustomed to tumbled leather and softness of the leather, they think that's the best quality. And granted, this military blue 4, it does have like a stiffer leather. I think the issue with it is the overlay on the shoe is a little thicker than usual, and that coating really throws off the feel of the leather. But overall, the shoe is a sturdy build. And the pattern I received from Nike, I had no issues with quality at all. And in my opinion, I think my pair came out pretty much flawless. And I'm very pleased with my pair. So pleased that I actually doubled up on the shoe. But as I was stating, you started to see more content creators start to harp on the same thing. They was parroting each other. Fast forward to, I would say, 2 weeks before the release. That should put us right around the first shock drop. And I want to say the shock drop was early April to mid-April. I can't remember, but it almost seemed like it was too early because most had initially thought that the release had moved out to May the 25th, and we couldn't understand why they was doing a shock drop almost a month prior to release. As we now know that the release was actually May the 4th, so it was, a couple weeks ahead. So Nike was still ahead of the schedule for doing the shock drop. So once the shock drop happened, I can't remember. I think it was 80 to 90,000 pairs that had shock drop. And at this point, you almost kind of started seeing unrest between people on social media, starting that FOMO train to rolling because of the low numbers that was released on the shock drop. So another week goes by, and people started wondering if they was going to do like an early access on the shoe. And lo and behold, they did do an early access. And that's how I initially got my pair, through the early access. I can't remember how many was dropped on the early access, but I don't think it was nowhere near 90,000 that the shock drop had. So people really started to, get that FOMO bug going. And they started doubting that it might be a 1.8 million to release. So at this point, a complete 180 happens. The people that was downing and dissing this shoe, the quality of this shoe, they started to change their tune. They started to, like I said, do a 180. They kind of started seeing that the shoe might be limited to not very many made, nowhere near a million pair. So now they take interest in it and started to think maybe there's some profit to be made. And I get it. I get capitalism. But when it comes to a smear campaign, because you can't price gouge the average consumer, that's some bullshit. And just watching them all do a complete 180 to 360, it blows my fucking mind at the gall of some of these fucking resellers. Moving forward, now these motherfuckers are back on the bandwagon. They trying to scoop up pairs on pairs to try to make some profit, if any, because now they see there's not many that's going to be dropping. These motherfuckers back on board now. And with all this happening, who else falls in line? More influencers, more content creators. They're back on the train. How easily fucking persuaded are you? I mean, let's keep it real. I watch a lot of videos. I'm cool with a lot of content creators. I don't bash no one person. I'm just sharing what I noticed over the last month leading up to this release. So like I was saying, content creators are influencers. They've also done a 360. So now they are back on board, pushing an agenda like nothing happened before. Like you wasn't shitting on the quality also. And another thing is these motherfuckers, they put up 1,000 videos on one product and they shit on that product the whole time. I'm like, if you're gonna milk the content, fucking at least be somewhat accurate to it. And don't just parrot what bigger influencers say. And this is my first content on this shoe, and I had it almost 2 weeks before release. So what I would say to everybody that's saying the quality is trash, pick up a SB4. Just feel the leather on that shoe and this military blue and tell me it's not somewhat similar. And thinking back to the military breads, people lost their fucking mind on that shoe because it went from nubuck suede to leather. And you see how that turned out. So what I got to say about the quality of this shoe, it's a good quality shoe. I mean, some people think they're going to get Italian leather on these $180, $200 shoes. I mean, that shit ain't going to happen, man. You got to use your head, man. So getting back into it, early access comes and goes. What's left now before release? Sneaker pass. So Nike does a sneaker pass. Not many pairs get released, I'm pretty sure. So we're getting down to the end of the line now. It's basically nothing left but release. I want to say they they dropped another sneaker pass. So that's a shock drop, or early access, and 2 sneaker passes. All right, let's total that up. Nike maybe has dropped 150,000 to 200,000 pairs total. So what's left for the actual release? You probably can, state it at maybe 80 to 100,000 on the sneakers app, maybe, because you got to realize all your foot sites, Foot Locker, DTLR, Snipes, all these other foot site stores, they actually got to have, stock as well. So Nike has had to disperse those also. One can say tallying up all those stores plus what sneakers had could possibly be 300 to 500,000 total. And these are just random guesses that I'm throwing out here. So just say 500,000. That's well off of 1 to 1.8 million. So now that FOMO bug is in full effect prior to the release date, people are starting to panic buy on StockX and Go. So now it's release date. Everybody's scrambling to try to get their raffles secured and hope to win on the sneakers app. And you have some influencers saying that it was less than 20,000 that dropped on the sneakers app. I'm not sure how many dropped today. Only thing I can tell you is I hit on the early access on the sneakers app. And on release date, I was actually on my desktop, and the desktop actually allowed me to purchase another pair. And I would say I was pending for maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And even now, while making this video and looking at the sneakers app, the bigger sizes are 12 and a half, 15, 16, 17, 18. And the smaller sizes are 3 and a half, 4, 5, and 6. That's all that's left. So I can't really predict how many of the sneakers dropped today. But I probably would bet that it was more than 20,000. And a quick look around other foot sites. Some sites still have smaller sizes. I will say that I actually got in line on Snipes during the release, and I actually carded a size 12, and I just let it sit. After sitting in my cart over 10 minutes, Snipes kicked me out, and I think I was like 1,000 out of 1,200 in line on the initial Snipes queue. So I got kicked out of the first queue, got back in line. I was behind like 12,000 people. And this was after I had already hit on the sneakers. So I was just curious to see if I can actually cart 2 times on the Snipes queue and still check out. And this was an hour and a half, close to 2 hours after, and I was actually able to cart if I wanted to. I just closed it out. So I will say it was a decent amount of pairs to drop today in total. 1.8, I'm not sure. I doubt it, but I'm not really sure. Taking a quick look at StockX, in my size 12, buy it now is $255, so they're going for $40 over retail right now. And just taking a quick look at the smaller sizes, it looks like it's probably $20 to $40 over retail. So if I really had to guess, I would say it was, again, like I threw a number out earlier, maybe 500,000 total. But what do I know? And also, if I had to predict if this shoe would, go up in value, I would say if it did, it will probably be a year to 2, maybe year and a half before it starts to go up. But that's just guessing. I'm not a financial advisor, so please don't take what I say as a financial advice. I'm not a reseller, but I was curious to see what these was going for on the third-party market. But in closing of this video, I just wanted to come through with some different content, and I just wanted to close out and give this Military Blue 4 a send-off as we've now passed this shoe and moving forward to future releases, because I'm pretty sure we all are mentally tired of seeing this shoe. But I thought it was very interesting to watch this all unfold. It was almost kind of like a build up from the Reimagined Breads. If you've seen my video on that, just read the title on that video, and you already see that how that shoe was starting to irritate me from the social media hype or non-hype of the shoe, and I couldn't let this one pass by. I had to just state what I was seeing. And I get it, everybody has different opinions of a shoe and the quality of a shoe and what a shoe's worth in resale. But when shit is so blatant and in front of your eyes to watch, it's hard to hold your tongue on something like that. And what I like to preach, if you like a shoe, get it because you like it. Don't get it because some influencer or some content creator likes the shoe. And since I do like making content regarding like the quality of the shoe and if it's worth purchase or things to look out for in a shoe, I will say that it's not all bad. Taking advice from content creators, just what I would say is, do your own research, research different opinions, and then come up with your overall opinion of something. Don't just take one or two people's advice on something, and always use your best judgment for yourself. But yeah, guys, that's what I have for you. Just wanted to change up this content, come through with this slight little rant. While having the shoe in the background, we really didn't go over it. I could do a quick rundown of the shoe and get you guys out of here. And just give you my opinions of the shoe. I gave you some sort opinions of it. I think the quality is good. Very sturdy shoe. Love the overall shape of the toe box. I think Nike stated that the blue colorway was closer to the overall 1989 OG of the shoe. So no complaints on the color versus I think the 2015 or whichever was the last release. It was more closer like a baby blue, very light blue, versus this one is a darker blue. I like this shoe. I like the other one. So no complaints on that. And just thinking about it, it's the first release of the military blue that has the Nike Air on the back since inception of the shoe in 1989. Hell, we might not see Nike Air on the military blue for another 20 to 30 years. So that alone is nostalgia. If you collect shoes, you might want to have that pair. But yeah, overall, I'm really loving the shoe. Love the overall clean look of it and the colorway. As I stated, I was able to double up on this shoe. So that should tell you how much I like the overall shoe and the quality of it. So, but we're moving forward. Shoes coming up that I'm probably going to try to go after. The Nike SB Futura. I might try to cop that shoe. And also the J Balvin 3s. That's what I'm looking forward to most. Other than that, we'll have to wait and see what's coming up. Stay tuned to the channel. More reviews coming up. I got some very dope customs that we will be taking a look at. You might not want to miss these shoes. If you're interested in seeing those, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned to the channel. Until the next time, peace.